This is Greg Noyes of Pacific West Home Inspections, and today I'm doing a house in Calabasas. Today is February 28th, 2014 at 12 noon. This is last 2 days we've had heavy rains come in, and so I'll be doing the roof and exterior early. The back of this house, they have a series of railroad retaining walls, and you can see some of the railings or retaining walls. They're under, they have lots of soil underneath. So in the backyard here we have a pool without a perimeter fence. There's a in-ground fiberglass spa. Over to the rear left side of the yard there's a conversation pit, and bring the camera around to the roof. It's a composition shingle roof, lightweight, and I prefer this type of roofing. There's a tree branches overlooking the roof, so they'll have some leaves build up. They did put a net over the gutters, so that'll help with the leaf buildup. The attic has a couple whirlybirds ventilators, and they're actually spinning today. They tend to not spin as they're supposed to today. They're doing their job. And there's a masonry fireplace and chimney. It's missing a rain cap, and I'll show you what that is here in a second, but I want to bring the camera around. The very top of the chimney is got some cracks in it. You can see here, and the crack follows all the way down through the chimney. And I want to back up, and what we like to see up here is a rain cap, and let me see if we have one in the area here. And I'm going to bring the camera around to your neighbor to the left. And we do. If you look at their chimney, they have a rain cap spark arrestor, and that will save your chimney and fireplace from moisture entering the system. So it looks like it's a one layer. The roof, there is some deterioration on the ridge cap, and I'm going to bring the camera down to the edge of these shingles. Deterioration here, so I'd say from the deterioration on the ridge cap in here is probably 8 to 10 years old, and typically this roof will get 20-year life on it. I'll bring the camera out to the front of the house, and it has a gutter system, and we'll swing it around to the area over the garage. There's a metal vent pipe for the furnace, and they actually put a collar here which we like to see. And then over in the garage here there's a water heater, and this still has the older transite pipe. This is an asbestos product, and the installation manual of your water heater recommends that they use a metal vent pipe there. Around the same area there's some bad defective shingles. It's losing a lot of the rock from the top, so I will recommend some repairs to the roof. Now on the front of the house is where the electric lines come in, and they've used black electrical tape, and you can see the tape is deteriorated, and there's some exposed lugs here, so that needs to be repaired, and the power company can do that for you. It's their line, their connection. So that's what you have. The winds are blowing, and there's some minor deterioration of the ridge cap, so these will have to be replaced here, repaired shortly, and replaced the next 2 to 3 years. So you have probably looks like 30 feet by about 120 feet of it. So we'll be coming down the stairs, down the ladder, and do the electrical panel next. So the electrical panel is on the right exterior of the house. It's made by a company called Zinsco. It's a very popular panel they used 40 years ago. And now the company has been sold a couple times, and there's been some problems with the way the breakers connect to the power poles. The power bars are made out of aluminum. In the back of the breakers, it's a dissimilar metal, so they tend to corrode. Plus the matter, the breakers are now 40 or so years old, and the tension of the springs lose some of their tension. So it's a company made by Zinsco, and there'll be a website you can go to. I'll have in the report. It's 150 amps for the house. It's plenty big enough for what you have this house. And then on one of the breakers, off the GFI breaker, there's we call it double lugging, 2 wires on the same lug that needs to be repaired. And then the very bottom of the panel, where the 2 Romex cables come up, they should have been secured to the panel, and they're just rubbing against the sheet metal of the panel itself. There's missing a screw for the main panel cover, and there's very few of the breakers have been labeled. So we'd like to see those labeled for safety reasons. And moving down the right side of the house, there's an AC condenser, and it's older, and I'll have to get an age on it. We'd like to see them raised. We'd like to see them raised above the walkway, so water doesn't sit underneath it. And a maintenance item here would be every 5 or 6 years you'd be replacing the insulation here that deteriorates over time. And today it's getting a little on the cold side, and if it gets below 65 degrees we can't run these. There might be a chance of damaging this unit, and in which case I will come back again, no charge, to make sure it's running properly on a warmer day. Also over here we have the gas meter, and the main gas line from the street's right here, and there's a valve here. You turn that 90 degrees and that shuts off the gas. So you can notice that the house side has got a larger pipe because your pool heater takes a lot of gas. Now there are a couple other things here, hose and a valve here. And this typically fills the pool fill, so we'll check that out today. And we like to see these anti-siphon devices. And I'll run outside, but it's starting to rain, so let's see what we can do before it rains. We like self-closing lashing doors, and we don't like to see gates that are opening towards the pool and spa area. We don't want kids to push on them and open up and get into the pool area. It's a fiberglass spa, and I left that valve open, so I'm going to go turn it off because I'm filling the pool on a rainy day. And the plaster looks in pretty good shape, and I'll get an age for you. The very bottom of the pool is a pool drain cover, and we like to see a raised type of cover. There's been cases where kids who got sat on these covers, these flat covers, and got sucked down. So we like to have them. Another type of cover is called a anti-vortex type of cover. And some cracks in the deck. There's a conversation pit here. And it might be gas. It might be a gas valve here somewhere. Now, just by the age of the house, if the gas line hasn't been replaced, it will need to be replaced because that's 40 years underground, and typically they'll rust out. So that's what you have. There's some patio drains at the patio here, and they have some decorative lighting. These are low voltage lights that become a maintenance nightmare because the way the wires are connected. And in the back of the house there's a receptacle. I'll check to make sure that's a GFI. Again, this is Greg Noyes, Pacific West Home Inspections, and I can be reached at 818-362-5578.